Jumbo Jumbo everyone, welcome back to Capping Like a Corn. And this is episode 3. Okay. I'm trying to keep up with it, nothing too crazy in this episode though, because guys, I literally have my first day of work tomorrow. Oh my god, I'm literally like adulting. What the fuck? I feel like I am a part of the very small percentage of people who are actually using their college degree and who have actually been able to obtain a job right after college. So I know that's a fear of like many of my peers where, you go to college and you literally graduate and you don't know what the fuck you're going to do because is your field even hiring, question mark? I don't know. But in this episode, I literally just wanted to talk about everything ASL. Everything ASL, deaf culture, everything of that sort. So y'all can have a deeper understanding as to why this, along with ADA slash like disability services accessibility, is my passion. Y'all niggas don't understand. Like, I can seriously yap about this stuff. So I think what I want to do is first kind of start off with my journey, just because, it's pretty self explanatory. And then after that, I want to get into not only the history, but the Black deaf history as well. And then I also want to talk about information and language deprivation. And then going into that, I'm going to be going a little bit more into depth as to why, like, I have a new idea that I'm going to be posting on my account, Blessing the Community LLC. Anyways, how do we even get started? Let's get started, shall we? So, my ASL journey, the earliest memory, and I always retell this, was in preschool. And in preschool, they have like ABCD, the finger spelling. And my first vivid memory of using ASL to some capacity was when I finger spelled my name in preschool. Mind you, I went to preschool when I was 3 years old and I stayed in preschool until I was 5, which 3 years old is like the earliest that obviously you can get into preschool. But girl, I was potty trained, I was very smart, don't play with me. And mind you, I was like the youngest in my class. So anyways, if that didn't tell you, like, my mom was a very like scholarly person. Like, my mom was on top of me and my siblings' asses, like when it came to school, grades, everything. So that's why like I'm very like academic. Like, I don't play about that stuff. So when it comes, elementary, middle school, high school, all that other stuff, I always thought I wanted to be a lawyer, or even watching Grey's Anatomy, I was like, oh my God, I want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. Girl, boo. I don't like nothing in the medical field like that. So what the fuck? And also that much schooling, I applaud people who do that, but no, thank you. I could be from the sidelines. So then, obviously watched Switched at Birth in elementary school and started really picking up sign language, but obviously it started to dwindle. Then in high school, they actually offered it because I guess, you know what, that's the nice thing about going to a suburban school. They offer fucking sign language. So then took I didn't even take ASL until actually my junior year of high school because I was fucking doing Spanish. Like, what the fuck? Nobody care about Spanish. But the thing is I could have gotten done with like my college credit, or like the credit you needed, because everybody needed 2 years of a language to graduate. And so I was like, okay, I already had a year from middle school. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just take my year in freshman year and then be able to be done with my language studies. But I didn't realize like how much I was going to love ASL, obviously. So then, which, what should have been self explanatory, bitch. Like, you literally love Switched at Birth. Anyways, so then, took ASL my junior year, loved my teacher. She's literally the reason why I even decided, like, okay, yeah, I want to like minor in it to some capacity, but I didn't really realize like how much I wanted to become an interpreter until I, got to actual college. So my college journey, I always knew I wanted to have like ASL as a minor. I knew that, like, I wanted to keep up with that. But the thing is about going to the University of Minnesota is that they only offered ASL 1 through 4. And I've made videos about this. I literally called the U of M out saying that the U of M is ableist. And when it comes to just like sign language and stuff like that, like, I've always just been on ass. Like, you guys make so much money. I don't know why you guys don't have like a deaf studies program or just investing more money. Like I said, you guys are the biggest university in Minnesota. You would think that you would allocate some funds instead of just being like, okay, we're just gonna put ASL 1 through 4 on St. Paul campus. Nobody cares about that. And in the basement of the building too, mind you. Whoa, okay. Anyways, mind you, Literally, our classrooms have no fucking windows. Can you imagine going to a fucking 8 a.m. ASL class? It's quiet as fuck, like artificial ass fucking lighting. And then on top of that, it's quiet. Bitch, I was falling asleep during them little 15-minute breaks. Ooh, I was tired. But literally took ASL 1 through 4. And I was just always very vocal. Like, I want more ASL. You know what I mean? And my professors were like, I mean, you can't always become an interpreter. But at that point, I was like already at the U of M. I didn't really know how like transferring colleges work. So I was just like, I don't really know like how that process works, right? I've always told this story, but came time like, you know, ASL's done and over with. Now I'm in junior year, like spring semester. This is when shit starts getting real. Like I'm in like the thick of my major classes, like, you know, the classes that are pertaining to my major. I'm like, why the fuck do I hate all my classes? Mind you, I was a African American and African Studies and a history major. So a lot of those classes double dip, so it kind of just felt like a cheat code to double, you know, major anyways, because it's like fuck it. And the thing with como se dice, the U of M is like they talk about equity, diversion, I'm dead as fuck. Not divergent, bitch. Diversity, inclusion, all that stuff, right? Why the fuck y'all got a white man teaching slavery in the making of America? You know what I mean? Like that was my biggest like what the fuck? You know how many I had more white teachers for my Afro classes than I did black. And when I did have a black teacher, I was beefing with my chick while I was in jail. Oh my god, beefing with my chick while I'm in jail. No, literally, those professors hated my guts for no fucking reason. The first one that I had, what was that? My sophomore year. That's where I met my friend Kai, and we were in that class together. That class was African American history, 1865 to present, and she taught the first half of the semester, and that really tells you I wasn't the fucking issue. So the thing with her is, she always I'm a historian. I'm a historian, girl. Ain't nobody give a fuck. Okay? Like, this is what I be talking about. Like, y'all can brag about all your accolades, but if you're a shitty person, you're still a fucking shitty person at the end of the day. Like, I don't care how many accolades you have. You know what I mean? And she was just always on my dick for no fucking reason. Like, here's an example. Literally, so the thing with my schooling, how I literally got through school, A's, how I remember all the books I be reading, all that stuff, natural reader, bitch. If you can get over the fucking robot voice, oh, you're golden. That's how I listen to all my books. I'm not paying for fucking Audible. What the fuck? I will go on Ocean of PDF, download my book, and then I'm gonna go to Natural Reader, put my book in that bitch, and I will have the robot lady read that motherfucking book to me on 2 motherfucking X, and that's how I finish all my I can't listen to shit on regular, like, no, I can't listen to shit on regular speed. You know what I mean? Like, give me that shit nice and quick. So when it comes to like articles or any type of prep that I gotta do, oh, that shit's getting listened to and it's getting listened to on 2X. Best believe I'm gonna do my prep, obviously, but it's going to be listened to at 2X. Like, nigga, if I watch all my YouTube videos and fucking just everything in general at like 1.5, 2X, don't fucking be surprised. And you see how I can get off track? Anyways, so she literally was like, oh, I can see in Canvas, I can see everybody's time that they logged in on Canvas, and it says that you've only been on for like, I think it's at like 13 minutes while everybody's been on for like 8 hours, right? But mind you, everybody's been on for 8 hours because they're in the tab reading. I download it, which I know y'all can see, like, who downloads what. I download it, and then I take it to my fucking app. Mind you, yes, in the app, it can take, like, say, an hour to read. But at the same time, if I'm putting that into Natural Reader, it's already reading on 2X. I don't actually have to sit down and physically be on the screen and scrolling, and you know what I mean? Like, I can put that shit on, go take a shower, go smoke some weed while I'm, like, listening to the audiobook. Like, at the end of the fucking day, bitch, I still did the fucking reading. And she really tried me. And she was like, oh, I can dock you. Like, she was always trying to come for me. And so then that's why I was just like, okay. So then I really got on her ass, right? I continued to make it seem like I was not logging in because, bitch, I'm not going on the fucking page and reading it when I'm doing it in my app. And so whenever she would try me, oh, I remember on page 45, and it was like kind of like in the middle of the page when it was talking about blah, blah, blah. Don't ever fucking test me again trying to say I didn't read the fucking book, bitch. Because if you want to go toe to toe, I can go toe to toe and tell you exactly what the fuck happened. Because that's also another thing. As somebody who needs it like read back to me, it makes it even easier because it allows me to have like a visual picture of what is going on and what I'm reading. So then in that instance, it helps me remember shit. So when people are like, oh, how do you like be on top of your stuff? How do you remember stuff? Bitch, you listen to it and you create a whole movie. Like, I don't know if y'all don't do that. Like, y'all don't imagine shit when shit's happening. Anyways, we'll get into that later on. So that was just the first example. She literally gave me a C- on my first paper. And then, because like I said, she only taught the first half of the semester. So then the second half of the semester, it was, bless her heart. I'm not going to say her name because you know what I mean, but she did also teach another one of my absolute favorite fucking classes. Like, this professor, I need to go visit her, or like, you know what I mean? Like, just like send her an email and be like, you were the best professor I ever had. Like, I think I literally quote our classes every fucking day. Like, I just want you to know how much of an impact you had on me, girl. Literally, she taught policing and surveillance in the 20th century. Like, that's why I literally have the mindset, all that stuff on cops, slavery, the judicial system, all that, you know what I mean? Like, all that other stuff. But she taught the second half of the semester. That girl gave me an A on my paper. Like, she, like, you know what I mean? So I was like, bitch, I was never the issue, right? And on top of that, the way she taught class, it was just so much more engaging. Like, the other woman's ego was just so high. I'm like, bitch, I don't want to learn from you. And then on top of that, oh my God, I will never forget this. And Kai is my witness. I literally had my hand up and she was like, oh, Reese, we'll come back to you. Mind you, she's still like attending class and stuff like that, but she's sitting like off to the side. This woman said out loud, because I said I was raising my hand, and then the professor was like, oh, like, we don't have time. Like, you know, we got to keep going or whatever. I was like, okay. This woman said out her fucking mouth, ha, Reese knows what it's like to be a black woman in America. What? Mind you, she wasn't, oh my God. I think this is why I be beefing with my chick while I'm in jail, because like, if you're not a black American, mind you, I don't consider myself black American. I'm African, period. Like, I don't care if I'm not a fob. I don't care which means fresh off the boat. I don't care if I wasn't born in the fucking country. I don't consider myself American by any means, because black Americans are so mean to Africans. Like, and then that's also where I'm like, if y'all really look into history, the diaspora wars, like, this is what the white man wants. This is what the white man wants. We'll get into that later. But like I said, this is what I mean. But like, the stuff that I learned, because my professor, the one that was dogging me out, bitch, you're Cuban and like French. You're not even like American black. You didn't even like suffer real, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not even trying to like, again, start diaspora wars, but how black Americans are treated and how we understand culture and stuff is very differently than a motherfucking biracial Cuban French. You know what I mean? Anyways, that woman makes me get into a tangent, because she really like, oh, she fucked up my college experience. And then on top of that, at the end of the semester, I was just like happy to be done with that class. Then the next black professor that I had, another black woman, she, oh my God, bitch, I would fall asleep on her in her class. Like, the woman would just be womp, womp, womp. And then when it would come time for me to write my papers, she would never say nothing positive. And you know me, I clap back real fucking quick. I asked her, I'm like, do you have anything positive to say? Because don't get me wrong, she's the reason why I even like wrote my paper on not quite white, biracial identity, all that other stuff. Why? Like, because I did so much research on it. So that's why like I'm able to talk about it, and I have a biracial mother. So bitch, I can talk about it. But like with her, I even came for her, like not came for her, but I like literally like snapped back. I'm like, do you have anything fucking positive to say? Because every single time you have like feedback, it's fucking negative. When I go to the writing center to go get help, because trust me, bitch, I used all my resources at the U of M. I was in that motherfucking writing center like every other week, like just getting help on my papers, because I'm like, no, if these people who are literally have the degrees are telling me, whoa, you should publish this. Yeah. Don't fucking play with me. There's so many papers that I've written where I'm like, I literally could have published this. Like, this was a fire ass motherfucking paper. Don't ever play with me like that. Because, like, I be trying to tell people, like, I'm really a scholar. And I do want to go get my master's, but I need to wait a little bit. Like, your girl needs like 2-3 years off. And then I also need to get NIC certified so then I can work anywhere and have my own rates. Thank you. But with saying that, that's just like my U of M college experience. Then you got fucking white men teaching fucking slavery in the making of America. The only one, I will shout him out, Bula. Bula. That's my nigga. But like I said, like, slavery in the making of America is being taught by a white man? Okay. Anyways, and like I said, because I did Afro studies with history as well, there were a lot of history majors. And with that, a lot of history majors are white people. And mind you, their history could be in something completely something else. But then we're also required at the U of M to take like, there's a thing called, what was it called? Like CPAP or not C It wasn't CPAP. It was like something where it's like your degree tracker basically. And the ones who went to U of M who are listening, if you know what I mean, they know what the fuck I'm talking about. It basically, mind you, that's how I knew. I was like, bitch, I need to transfer, because I was just taking random ass fucking classes. Advisors ain't shit at the U of M. Like, I literally was taking classes that I didn't need to take that didn't pertain to, like, you know what I mean? I was missing so many classes. When I looked at that bitch, I said, oh, I need to lock the fuck in. Thank you. I need to take a science class, a lab, like all this other stuff, whatever. Come time to it. Slavery in the making of America. Why do I keep talking about this one class? Bitch, because that's the motherfucking class that made me determine I'm not going to this white ass establishment anymore. Basically what happened was, sitting in class, the professor's like, oh, we're going to talk about the hierarchy, structures, whatever of slavery. I'm like, okay. He's like, does anybody have examples? I'm like, yes, house slave versus field slave, whatever. The white girl sitting next to me, her and I were like, cool. Mind you, I always like to sit in the front of the class. Okay, whatever, call me goody two shoes. I don't give a fuck. Bitch, I like to learn. We're both sitting in the front. We're both like the only ones who really like, there's like maybe 3 other people who really contribute to the class, but we're like the main ones. Then this white girl in a class of slavery in the making of America turns to me and goes, yeah, that's like when Logic said he's a house nigga. Who? You can't say that. Oh, that's not, you can't say that. Mind you, the professor's still teaching. He don't even know what the fuck is going on. I never told him either, because you're a white man teaching this class. I don't expect you to be on my side. This girl really had the motherfucking nerve to say nigga to me. And slavery in the making of America. If that isn't a textbook example of what the fuck we're learning about. After that, I said, oh, so I'm not going to be a part of this school anymore. I'm literally telling you, I obviously wasn't just going to drop out, and you can't just transfer mid fucking year. Bitch, it was like, I think it was like March at this point. So I really only had 8 weeks left. Like, we were already halfway through the semester. So I said, fuck it. I'm sitting there on the phone with my, like, no. After that, I start researching. Like, I start sitting in the back of the class. I'm not participating in this motherfucking class no more, because you just had this white girl say nigga to me. The fuck? So then after that, I'm like, bitch, I gotta find a new career path. And you know what's funny? Like, people would always be like, oh, like, what are you going to school for? Afro studies and history. What do you want to do with that? I don't fucking know. I was like, I'd always tell people I want to be an ASL interpreter. Okay, so how the fuck does that even correlate? Anyways, but that's what I'm also saying. It's very nice that I have that background, because when I come to the, you know, ASL community, the niche, it's so fucking niche. The black community, black history. Like, I wrote a paper. That was my final paper in that class, in slavery in the making of America, because I knew I wanted to transfer to become an interpreter. So I literally wrote it on black slaves and disabilities, and like how if you were a slave with a disability, it was actually an advantage. We'll get into that later on. Or you could just go watch my YouTube video that I made it on. Thank you. But yeah, I sat in the back of the class, and I'm starting to research, like, okay, I really got to like get on my Zoom and figure what the fuck I'm going to do, because technically I'm a junior. I'm supposed to be graduating next year. No. So that's when I was like, okay, I always knew that I wanted to go to St. Paul College, because mind you, that ASL 4, that was like right after like COVID finally lifted up. So we had to go do like our mandatory activities. I went to St. Kate's to do like an activity, or like, you know, volunteering or whatever, met with people who were like a part of the program basically. And that's where I got like insight to being like, oh, okay, like I could do that. And her and I, like the person that I was with, she was in the interpreting program, and really had a really good conversation. I was like, okay, you know, I have a backup. I was like, I want to go to St. Paul College, but she's like, the thing with going to St. Paul College is like, the thing with the deaf community in itself is you need a 4-year degree to be NIC certified. What is NIC? Nationally national interpreter certification, and that means like you can interpret all around the country. But the thing is, that's also weird. I gotta like ask about that because NIC, national, but then it's also like in certain states you have to have licenses. So that's where I have to ask and be like, does the NIC trump the licenses? You know what I mean? But so that's where I'm just like, So I kind of had a backup plan. I was researching St. Kate's, the financial aid, what would it cost, like all this other stuff. And I said, fuck it, I'm gonna apply. My mom went there, so technically I'd be able to get like a legacy scholarship. My FAFSA I still had like 2 years on my FAFSA, so that would be able to be covered if I transferred. Because I'm really thinking like FAFSA don't help you after your first degree. They're like, we'll help you if you want to transfer schools, but they don't help you after your first degree. So that's where I'm like, fuck, like I could be a fifth year or I could be a fourth year, go back to school for 2 more years, but pay fucking $25,000 a semester. No, thank you. So I was like, okay, fuck it, I gotta transfer. So that's when I made the decision, okay, I'm gonna transfer, but I still gotta write out my junior year. That's where I made my YouTube video where I was like, come do my finals with me, or like come not care about my finals because I'm not even going here next year or whatever. Did all that, transferred, did like my thing or whatever, and that's where I literally got right into the interpreting program. But the issue is I didn't have any ASL for like 9 months. Obviously, I watched Switched at Birth the summer before I went to, I started school, but that isn't enough. I started very fucking rusty. Oh my God. I felt like I literally was thrown into the motherfucking deep end and was forced to swim. Because that was the thing too. The program that I went to, we started off with 6 and then there were 5. There's 5 people in my program. Obviously now there's more people who are transferring in. I think the interpreting program this year is like 13. It might be a little bit bigger because, people are transferring in, but that's where I'm just like, damn, like 5 people in a fucking program. Can you imagine that? And I'm gonna be honest, dude, we all got on each other's nerves. Fuck. There's like not enough of us to go around. Like typically and if you're in a program, there's typically like 30 fucking people at least. No, bitch. 5 people that you're in almost every single class with. Because mind you, we're juniors and seniors. So these are our major classes. And so, yeah. So transferring junior year, it was all right. Senior year, wow. Senior year should be studied because, oh my God, I really saw what the fuck resilience was because it seemed like niggas were preying on my downfall. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. Like, wow. I'm just gonna say plainly, like, I had my classmates report me to the motherfucking dean saying I was being homophobic because I haven't told this story yet, but literally I got reported to the dean because I made a YouTube video where I was asking, are you gay if you sag your pants? Mind you, I want to make something very, very fucking clear before I get into this story. The black gay community and the white gay community are very, very, very different things. And that's also what I mean is if you're not a historic person, if you don't know about history, if you don't know these things, that's why my YouTube videos, my YouTube channel, the memes that I have for my titles, all that other stuff. Yes, it's clickbaity, but if you really watch the video, you can understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So the fact that these people really emailed the dean and said, I'm using homophobic rhetoric and slurs, and I make them feel extremely unsafe and uncomfortable in the classroom, y'all got the game fucked up and you got me fucked up. Because mind you, I'm the only black student in this program. Not only are you trying to jeopardize my fucking graduation, because mind you, this is senior year. We had 1 more semester. You're trying to jeopardize it. I'm also beefing with my chick while I'm in jail because my professor gave me 0.7 off from getting an A- in the class that I literally maintained an A the whole semester. People, oh my God, even just recounting it right now, it's giving me oh my God. I don't know how long this first part's even gonna fucking be. Niggas gotta go to bed. But literally, I'm gonna have to make a whole separate story about that. And even that is I can't even say too much because it's my reputation in this community perceives, whatever the fuck. Because it's the community is so goddamn small. And that's also another thing. If y'all don't know anything about ASL, interpreting community, all that other stuff, it is heavily white women dominated. Okay? The black community, black interpreters make up 5%. 5. And out of that 5%, that is como se dice, certified, I'd say 2.5% of those interpreters are actually certified. That's even pushing it. I'd probably say 1.5. Because even when we did the census, like for Minnesota or whatever, bitch, I think it said it was like maybe like 20. That's even pushing it. Maybe like, yeah, maybe like 20 black interpreters who report, like, actually, did the census. And then it said out of that 20, I think it said it was like 5. 5 to like 8 of them were actually certified. So when I say it's hard for a nigga out here, it's hard for a nigga out here. Yeah. To say it plainly, like dead ass. Mind you, I live in Minnesota. Minnesota has the second highest deaf population. So whenever people are like, oh, are you going to move? Why the fuck would I move? This is where ample opportunity is in Minnesota. Like, not even to like be on some egoic shit or whatever, but like, there's too many opportunities in Minnesota with it. Of course, like I said, being the second highest deaf population, but also Minnesota is very, like, they don't play about the deaf community. Okay. The deaf community here in Minnesota has a lot of fucking resources, a lot more than other states. So hell yeah, I'm gonna say my ass right here in cheap ass fucking Minnesota and travel the motherfucking world. Thank you. But even like my graduation, wow, like getting to that point, I was so over it. Nobody talked to me. I'm figuring everything out. When I say I felt like T Grizzly, these niggas were preying on my downfall. I'm not joking. These niggas were preying on my downfall. So finally, graduation. I literally had to shut the fuck up. Like, that's what my sister told me too. My mom, everybody was like, shut the fuck up until you get that diploma. These people have your diploma in their hands. Yes. So shut the fuck up until graduation. Obviously, I'm still making a name for myself, my own business, Blessing the Community LLC. But genuinely, I see so many great things happening for my business. I'm already, I got to go get my bank account set up because I'm not playing around when it comes to the IRS, bitch. I will have my 30% set aside for taxes. Thank you. But, Blessing the Community LLC is like a very huge umbrella for the amount of incomes and resources, you know what I mean, that I have, because it's under my YouTube channels, and then it's also me interpreting, and then not only interpreting, but it's like freelance interpreting, any concert gigs or whatever, but then I also am going to be interpreting through an agency, so that money is going to be going, straight towards that bank account. So it's just like very, very, making sure I'm on my P's and motherfucking Q's, because being an independent contractor can get very, very messy if you do not have your shit in order. And that's the thing with being an ASL interpreter, babes. I want to set my own schedule. Like, I know a lot of people, they like having somebody make their schedule and just tell them to go to a job. No, I'm a picky bitch. If I don't want to wake up at 7 a.m., I'm not going to wake up at 7 a.m. Says the bitch who has to wake up literally at fucking 5 a.m. tomorrow. Don't fucking talk to me. Why do you think I'm literally filming this at motherfucking, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. I am forcing myself. I don't even know if I can say all this in 30 minutes. Like, it's just too much. But basically, to make a long story short, Reese Ireland is now a novice interpreter, as I like to say. I am going to retake my test probably around like December, because I passed my case study, but I unfortunately failed my ethics and knowledge by literally 21 points. Oh my God, that shit pissed me the fuck off. And I wanted to retake it like at the end of summer, because a nigga thought I was going to have experience over the summer. No, that didn't happen. So I'm going to wait until I actually have like more experience, exposure, all that stuff, and like really like on my P's and Q's when it comes to studying. Anyways, what else do I have to say? Well, I will get more into depth about like my actual college experience, because I could talk about that for fucking hours. Clearly, we're 30 minutes in and I haven't even gotten to everything ASL. I'm just gonna spitball. I'm gonna spitball a whole bunch of just like quick ASL facts, Black history facts, all that other stuff, to in tandem, like, so y'all can understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking about what I'm talking about, and why I have the aspirations to do what the fuck I want to do. So if you didn't know, we're just going to start from the beginning. Thomas Gallaudet, is that his name? Yes, Thomas Gallaudet and Laurent Clerc. Basically, French Sign Language is a combination of natives. Oh my God, what the fuck am I talking about? So they are from France, basically French, whatever the fuck you want to say. Paris? What the fuck is that? France. They're from France. They came over, I think, like, they met a deaf girl And then they basically started developing ASL. That's where Gallaudet started. That's why Gallaudet has the name that it has. There's also Laurent Clerc. I think he was the French man or whatever. I gotta brush up on my ASL history. But basically they came over, started Gallaudet University. That's why it's like literally the first and only deaf college basically to exist. Like that's catered for deaf people. That's in Washington DC. That's also what I've said, like if I want to go get my master's, like shit, I'd go to Gallaudet. Like I need to be surrounded by deaf people, no shade. Other than that, when looking at history, there's a lot of fucking history. I read a book, it's called it's like Beyond the Word. No, I'm not gonna butcher it, but it's just a book that talks about like the deaf history and all that stuff. There's something called autism, which is basically like the discrimination against people who can't hear. There are a lot of people who are called autists, and that is basically people who try to change deaf people, like the oral method where it's forcing deaf people to only like speak and not learn sign language. They force deaf people to sit on their hands to they said they couldn't sign. So that was around, pretty sure like the 60s to like the 80s, 1980s, like 1960s and 1980s. And then after that, like there was a lot of deaf liberation. The Black deaf community continued to stay segregated up until like the 90s, I'm pretty sure, like because it was hard, you know what I mean? Like yes, we can talk about civil rights segregation because even deaf schools in the South didn't fucking desegregate for a fucking minute. And even if they did desegregate, they would fucking just close down the black school and force them to go to the white school. That's also another thing. There's a thing called Black American Sign Language, and that is completely different because obviously slavery, all that other stuff, black people had to have their own dialect. BASL is basically AAVE if you really want to get into it. So with saying all of that, that's why I say so much of the time, like it's so important to have an ASL interpreter that's black or that's culturally aware of certain things, because like that's the reason why, I'll get into it later, why rap music is so fucking nuanced. And that's why, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Going back to a black ASL, like that's the reason why black ASL is a thing, because of the segregation in the schools. When desegregation happened, they forced these black kids to go to the white schools. A lot of these black kids were like, I don't fucking understand the teacher. What the fuck are they saying? Because of how the language was different. White deaf kids learned ASL differently than black deaf kids. So that's also where it's like the culture difference and how the black deaf community can even feel extremely isolated in a sense, because racism, white supremacy, how you fucking, I don't even want to say it, but it's like, you know what I mean? How we both marginalized, but you're still like racist. Like we're damn near the same. Like, come on now. So that's where it's just like instances like that, like intersectionality, like shit goes fucking deep. This is where I'm like, can you imagine being triple marginalized? You're black, you're deaf, and you're a woman. What? Imagine you're quadruple marginalized. You're black, you're deaf, you're queer, and you're a woman. Like that's what basically intersectionality is. There's so many of these identities that are at an intersection that people don't think like, oh, this could happen because of this and this and this, and this is how they're affected. No, nobody wants to think. Nobody wants to have critical thinking skills. So that's where I'm like, me becoming an ASL interpreter and an ADA coordinator on top of that, like don't play with me, bitch, because I do go get my little certifications if I motherfucking need to. But that's what I'm saying, like that's why I'm so passionate when it comes to stuff like that, because again, like just with the whole history, y'all already know when it comes to black history, that's not even anything to get into. Then add on being black and deaf, going through all of that history, you know what I mean? So that's why I ride for my niggas who are deaf. And that's why I say a lot of the times, yes, I want to cater to the black deaf community, because they're the ones who have been the most marginalized. They're the ones who miss out. Don't get me wrong. White deaf people and other people of color who are deaf have, of course, experienced discrimination, but not like black deaf people. And you know what? If people want to come at me, come for me. I have the history to back it up. Thank you very much. Anyways, so that's why like I'm just so passionate about the black deaf community, because it's like, I get it. There have been so many resources for the deaf community, but it's catered towards the white deaf community. That's why I say so many of the times, like, y'all be forgetting about the black deaf people or the other people of color that are deaf. And that's why I also be saying, like, it's just so ironic that I literally had to take a microaggression course in my senior year fall semester, and then I experienced the most microaggressions my senior year. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? So that's why I be saying, it's like, okay, cool. Like, y'all be thinking, oh, okay, 5%, 5% out of 100%, 5% of interpreters are black. So that's where it's like, if me as a black person, I go to like an appointment or I go somewhere and there's another black deaf person, they're literally going to be shocked. They're going to be like, no way, because I've never had a black interpreter. And it's like, I'm here, boo. I'm here. Anyways, so now that I've kind of like spitballed just a little bit of the history, just to get into it really, I want to talk about two main things. And I am going to kind of spitball because y'all know how I can yap and a girl got to go to bed. I want to talk about two things and they go hand in hand. And I'm also going to make like video pertaining to Blessing the Community LLC on this. It's going to be one of my pinned video. And then it's also, I need to make like an intro video introducing who I am, why I do what I do, why I have the passions. You know what I mean? Anyways, the two things I want to talk about are language deprivation and information deprivation. You probably don't know what that means. Bitch, I wrote a whole motherfucking paper on it. And wow, I learned a lot. And so when I say language and information deprivation, we have to think of the deaf community, right? 90%. 90. So I'm throwing a lot of numbers at y'all, but you have to understand this is why I go so hard for what I do. 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents. Out of those hearing parents, how much, like, what percent do you think actually takes the time to learn ASL for their deaf child? I'd say probably 3% if I'm being generous, maybe 4%. A lot of those parents, that's why I made the YouTube video that I did. Are you ableist? Would you raise your child deaf or hearing? And that's where it's like the question comes in. Are you going to get them a cochlear? Are you going to allow them to even be immersed in the deaf community? Like, how are you going to raise a child that has a disability? You know what I mean? So the thing with language and information deprivation, if 90% of deaf kids are born to hearing parents who don't learn ASL for them and try to force them to be a part of the hearing world, can you understand how much a deaf person is missing out on? Do you know the amount of incidental information that we as hearing people learn? Just even hearing swear words as a child, knowing what's good and what's bad, and even picking up fucking pop culture references, memes, little like things that kids bond over. You know what I mean? A lot of deaf children don't understand that culture because not only are they born to hearing parents who don't learn ASL to then invite them into these nuances and these things that hearing people know, but at the same time, they just, it goes over their head. So with them being forced to like not have a language, because of course, a lot of these parents are going to mainstream their kids. What I mean by mainstream is they're going to send them to a hearing school. In those hearing schools, that's where we have the K through 12 interpreters. This is why I say motherfucking like applauding the K through 12 interpreters. It could never be me. I did my internship in K through 12 and I complained every fucking day. I can't do K through 12. I can do maybe college. I can't be around kids. I'm not college, like I'm not kid appropriate. I swear, like you know what I mean? Like I be talking about inappropriate things. I be forgetting fuck time and place. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm just like, kids love me, but K through 12 is not for me. But that's what I'm saying. When you're a K through 12 interpreter, most of the time, because these kids have language deprivation, they don't know like English basically. Cause that's also another thing. Yes, ASL is not English, but English plays a very big hand when it comes to these kids learning because they're in the fucking mainstream schools learning English. So not only are they learning ASL and the interpreters are basically teaching them ASL, having to teach them basic ASL. Then on top of that, how does the ASL relate to the English? Then they're in English class confused as fuck because ASL grammar is nothing like English grammar. Then on top of that, when you're in ASL, you have to literally expand on things. You have to explain. You have to show pictures. There's so much that goes into it. So that's why it's like on top of language deprivation, when you have no language, and on top of that, the crucial years for kids to learn language is up until 7. A lot of these kids, yes, they're entering, or isn't it until like 4? It's like 3 to 7 or something like that is like the crucial developmental, like really learning a language, right? Or is it earlier? Fucking, say if I'm wrong or whatever like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like those years of a child growing up, the incidental information that hearing kids can hear. That's how a lot of kids start to talk. That's why people are like, don't sit here and baby talk your kids. Talk to your child as if they are like your baby. Talk to them as if they're an adult. Because that's how babies are super smart. They pick up on speech patterns, everything of that sort. They comprehend. Yes. So when it comes to deaf children, you have to take a completely different approach because there are all these incidental things that they're not learning. So that incidental information that they're not learning because they don't have language, turns into information deprivation. That's why when I talk about there's so many memes, pop culture references, even just slang. Slang is a huge one. A lot of like culture or like AAVE. That's a big thing that I like to talk about. Black references. Oh my God. Like, of course, white deaf people are not going to understand AAVE because not only can they not like hear the tone, understand the cadence, but a lot of the AAVE that comes with Black history is rooted in Black history. So that's also another thing is like, because white deaf people have more things to worry about. Like, let's be very, very honest, because white deaf people literally are trying to get their fucking language. They're not focusing on Black history. They're not focusing on, oh, this is how this, and this happened. You know what I mean? They're literally just trying to learn language and then the information that comes with it. Most deaf people, I think when they graduate college or when they graduate high school, can only read, I think they can only read at like a 3rd grade level. That statistic may have gotten bumped up to like a 4th grade level, but that's literally where they're at. So that's why I'm like so passionate in what I talk about when it comes to information and language deprivation. Because can you imagine can you imagine not being exposed to any language at all for the first 7 years of your life? Then you're thrown into the world to then figure out language. You are going to be so behind. It's going to be incredibly hard to catch up. And that's why I say I commend the parents who learn ASL. You know what I want? You know what I mean? If you want to go get your child a cochlear, I have my own opinions on cochlear implants, but if that's what your child wants, I would always recommend your child waiting a little bit longer, being more immersed in the deaf community to really understand like your identity doesn't have to be wrapped around in a cochlear implant, because I've met people who have even gotten a bilateral cochlear implant and they don't use them. They literally said they don't work, or you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine putting your child through all of that stress for surgery to not work? Like, and then the hearing and all. No, we are not here to cure deaf people. Deaf people don't need to be cured. That's like the part that bothers me the most. Like, bitch, just fucking learn ASL. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, the deaf community, like, it bothers me so much when I tell people, oh, I'm an ASL interpreter, and they start throwing up their motherfucking hands. I'm literally going to start telling people, stop being fucking ableist, because you're ableist when you do that. Instead of just being like, oh, da-da-da-da. Because so many hearing people, how do you say fuck you? How do you say bitch? And I always reply, how do you say hello, my name is? Like, how about you learn how to actually converse with a deaf person instead of when you meet them and you're just saying fuck, bitch, shit, you know what I mean, in front of them instead of hello, my name is? Like, get the fuck out my face with that bullshit. So that's what it just bothers me, where it's like being a part of such a niche ass fucking career. Like, there's so many instances, so many like places that I can be. But like I said, performing arts is where my heart belongs. Performing arts is where I thrive. And I, like I said, have just had so many people who doubted me. Like, I get it. When people say, oh, you can't make a living off of performing arts interpreting, when you really look at the prep, the amount of time that goes into having to prep for performing arts. This is why I say I prefer music and concerts over like plays, because the thing with plays is like you are taking on 4 characters at a time. Depending on how many characters there really are, you could be taking on from 4 to 5 characters. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of fucking work. And then on top of that, it's like 2 hours. So it's just like, fuck, like I'm really up in that bitch, like getting in the mode. I have to do the mood. I have to like go and watch the play 2 times before I actually go and like interpret it. I have to meet with the other interpreter. We have to come up with name signs. We have to figure out like who's doing what character. I'm still a novice interpreter. So that's where it's like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still figuring out, okay, this is literal. This isn't literal. How do I make it, you know, fluid? How do I even just interpret it? But when I say like music is my thing, I just like, now that I'm an interpreter, and the thing with being an interpreter is like everything is about meaning. So yes, of course, like a lot of people have the common misconception of, oh, ASL is just English on the hands. No, babes. It's a lot more in depth than that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, now listening to music and listening to it for meaning, I've realized, and this goes into my point of like my ASL breakdowns that I'm going to do on Blessing the Community LLC. Obviously, by the time that this podcast episode is being posted, that video or one of the videos that I want to make about a ASL breakdown is already posted. But I want to make a couple videos, obviously, like I said, my intro video, and then talking about why I'm doing ASL breakdowns because of information and language. Because of information and language deprivation. So when I'm listening to music now, like, and I really like look at the lyrics, I'm like, oh, that's what they mean. But more specifically, my ASL breakdowns and talking about rap. The thing with rap music is that more specifically, like, we'll take, for example, my favorite artists, Rico Nasty, Mana Leo, and Flo Milli. Those are my top three, right? No particular order. When I say, especially Rico Nasty is more alternative, and then Mana Leo and Flo Milli are more like boss bitch music. Same with Rico, but like Rico is very, that's where I go if I want to be like headbanging in the gym, like just not giving a fuck, you know what I mean? And with saying that, when you really look at their lyrics, a lot of people will be like, how the fuck would I interpret this? Because even sometimes I ask myself, how the fuck would I interpret this? And I think that's why I wanted to do ASL breakdowns, is because yes, people can come online, people who are just ASL students, not even interpreters. That could be a whole other thing. I think that's why sometimes I'm iffy on even posting me interpreting, because it's like, I don't want it to be wrong. Like, yes, it's my own interpretation, but it's like, it can be a sticky situation as an interpreter posting, you know what I mean? Like music videos of me interpreting, because we already went over all that, like deaf culture and all that stuff in school. And I don't want to disrespect nobody, right? To say all that to say is like, I feel like doing the breakdowns will allow me to almost like, what am I trying to say? Like go over the actual meanings, because there's so much AAVE, especially like I'm listening to Flo, I'm listening to Mana Leo. People would be like, what the fuck? Like take for example, okay, one of my favorite songs, Drunk Freestyle by Mana Leo. It starts off, I said I'm looking for the sluts, I got my eyes peeled. A gas hitting next day, high steel. If I'm a white person and I heard that, what the fuck does that mean? So me breaking that down, I said I'm looking for the sluts, I got my eyes peeled. That means like, you know what I mean? Like they're really looking, like she's really searching. And then the next line, gas hitting next day, high steel. That means the gas was so good, like the weed was so good. Like you ever taken an edible and then the next day you're still high? That's basically what she's saying. Like she smoked that weed, she woke up the next day, she's still high. That gas was so good. Next day, high still. Then the next line, of course I took the nigga bitch, I steal. Wait, of course I took the nigga bitch, I steal. Got a leg up on all these bitches like a high heel. Like when people really listen to that, they're like, what? So that's why I wanted to do my ASL breakdowns, because it's like, instead of signing the song, I can do verse by verse or lyric by lyric. You know what I mean? Like to really show y'all, okay, this is what the meaning is, because a lot of people have the common misperception of ASL. So this is what the meaning of it. And of course, doing all of it in ASL and then doing a voiceover. I think that will be super, super helpful. And then on top of that, it's kind of like my own little niche where it's like me breaking down these popular songs, especially doing like Queen Key songs. Like, what the fuck you mean Dubai shitting and all that stuff? Well, if you know anything about Dubai, there's a rumor. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the importance of having interpreters that match who the fuck is saying this shit. Like, this is why I am just so passionate about like being in everybody's faces about accessibility, because at the end of the day, like, y'all gonna need to be accessible for everybody or you're gonna get a violation. Like, I'm literally going to take my test for my certification on Wednesday. I'm super excited about that, because it's just like, damn, shit's getting real. Like, I'll finally be able to say I'm a certified ADA interpreter. I'm a certified ADA coordinator, and being able to, you know, add that to my title as well just makes me even more official. But to just really wrap things up, I see so many amazing things for my future. Like, girl, I'm already planning my birthday trip. I'm going all motherfucking out for this 21st, for my 24th birthday. That's even crazy to fucking say that I'm turning 24. And the reason why I'm going all out is because bitch, each birthday, I just need to make better and better. Last year, of course, I went to St. Martin, but I didn't go solo. I wish I would have, because that's the issue that I have with my birthday is one person can ruin your birthday. I'm not saying my birthday was ruined, but like if I say I don't want to go out clubbing and I feel like I have to cater to the person who wants to go out and club, like, bitch, it's my birthday. But then I'm the bitch if I don't want to go out. You know what I mean? So I already decided I'm going solo on this trip. I want to really go reset, relax, quantum leap in a different country. Thank you. And actually, I'm going back to Asia, bitches. I'm going to motherfucking Thailand. Yeah, yeah. So, I'm literally going to be working for the next what, 5 months, 4 months that my birthday is, because it's about to be September. So I have all of September, October, November, December. So that's 4 full months. So I got 120 days really to grind. And then on top of that, I also like have so many ASL jobs, so many things on the side, prep, YouTube, like I be taking on so many projects, and I do this to myself. You know what I mean? I do this to myself, but at the same time, it's the love of the game. Like networking, all this other stuff. I just like I said I want to do things that other people have never done before. And of course, I'm a Black woman doing it. Thank you very much. So I think I've yapped long enough. This episode was already 50 minutes, but we're going to get deeper into it. But I just wanted to come out here, talk a little bit about my ASL journey. I know it wasn't everything ASL, but it was kind of like, how I got to my journey. But this is kind of like just a preview a little bit, because if y'all can already see if I can yap about an hour, even just like my experience in college and then language deprivation and from all that stuff, deaf community, I'm going to keep yapping about it. So that's where I just want to preface as well on there's a lot of things that, like, especially with the deaf community, I am going to have to keep confidential with certain things. The most I can tell people is like, yes, I'm working at a college. That's strictly it. Other things, like, I know there are certain things when it comes to like social media and like just posts as an interpreter that I should or shouldn't be posting. And obviously I'm going to be very, very wary of that. I do want to preface though, however, with me having Blessing the Community LLC and specifically posting, like focusing on concerts and music festivals, babes, I'm going to have to take pictures and I'm going to have to post about how I was able to accomplish this in the first place. You know what I mean? So there's just certain things that, like, because, I've taken classes, I've taken whatever, and just as somebody who is a content creator, and I obviously, my jobs come over content creation because content creation can be gone in a blink of an eye, but also just like spreading more awareness on the deaf community, how things work. Sometimes you do have to publicize them. I know confidentiality, obviously, like I said, but there are certain things, like if I want to show the process of how I prep for a show and then the behind the scenes of me, like, because at the same time I'm ADA coordinating. So it's just like, I know not to do dual roles, but dual roles means like ADA coordinating and then there's a deaf person and I'm interpreting while I'm doing you know what I mean? That's not, if I'm ADA coordinating and then I step into the role of interpreter, I'm not going to be doing ADA coordinating while I'm interpreting. You know what I mean? Just to like say that plainly, whatever. I just got to make that shit clear, because I feel like a lot of businesses can get confused as to like an ADA coordinator, if I'm going to hire you on, everything of that sort. Pero, when it comes to like me and ASL, I do want to showcase a couple stuff, because it's like a lot of people don't know what it's like to be an ASL interpreting student. What do assignments look like? What do you have to do? And just everything of that sort. Tomorrow's my first day. I'm literally waking up at like 5:45. I'm going to do like a get ready with me, the outfit that I'm wearing, but that's as far as I'm going to take it. Maybe even like the drive with me. But like I said, that's as far as I'm going to take it. I'll do a debrief of how the day went, but I'm literally going to be there all day, basically. They keep asking me, I'm like, girl, I don't know, because I don't know if I can wake up that early. I hate waking up this fucking early. Like, yes, I'm getting paid, yes, I'm getting money, but it's like I like sleeping until at least 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, if the job's at like 9, okay, but fuck, like I gotta be like on site at like 7 o'clock. You got the game fucked up. But we'll see how it goes. And I'm just very excited because, like, y'all, I literally have like 5 fucking jobs. Like, I'm so tired. But you know what? This Thailand trip ain't going to pay for itself. And when I want to ball out, go all out, especially on that flight, I'm not playing around. Just to say it kindly, I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I'm not flying no economy, babes. Like, I suffered when I went to Bali, and I'm not doing that to myself again. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm hustling and bustling. So when it comes to content, of course, I'm going to stay on top of my YouTube channel and, podcasting, it's easy to just sit down and yap for an hour, but it's like, fuck, I have so many fucking things to do. I'm literally going to be working like fucking 80 hours a week. Can't complain though, because them paychecks are finna be fat. Anyways, I genuinely think I have yapped long enough. I really hope y'all enjoyed this podcast episode, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye, y'all.